Hi, this is Richard Collins from HAYNE Solutions. I'm just going to show you some basic strategies for doing backups and optimizing your SQL databases. Although I'm going to be showing you some databases that are for a product, IBM Controller, that we support, what I'm showing you today should be good for pretty much so any system, but it's all very basic settings I'm showing you. There are lots of different methods, as I say, for doing backups and maintenance. One popular method is this one from Ola Hallengren. This is quite popular with advanced SQL administrators. You run some scripts, they're all customizable. I don't personally use it, but you're welcome to go on that website. And if you choose to do this method, then great. A lot of people recommend it, but I don't use it. I instead use a method which has been around for 20 years, since about SQL 2000 days. I've been using this for, well, I've been using it for at least 23 years anyway. And it is using the built-in SQL Maintenance Plan tool that comes with SQL. I wrote this document that you're looking at the moment for IBM probably 10, 15 years ago. But if you want to read it, you need to have an active support contract with IBM. Therefore, you won't be able to probably read it yourself. So I will take you through very briefly what I wrote in that document. As I say, the different methods, I'm going to show you the SQL maintenance plan. And there's a bit of a prerequisite. You will need to make sure that the SQL Server agent is running. You should set it to automatic and start it. If you don't, then the jobs won't, you can't schedule the jobs to run. Another bit of prerequisite is it doesn't work properly with SQL Management Studio version 21. This is the latest version. If you do that, then if you go to this screen and try and create a new maintenance plan, then you won't be allowed to. You can work around it by installing an optional component, but we haven't got time to show you this. Instead, we're going to do a workaround, which is use the older version of that same client tool, which is version 20, which looks like this. Okay, so we are going to start off by just right-clicking here, choose Maintenance Plan Wizard. I am going to whiz through all these settings, and generally I'm going to use the default settings. Obviously, you're going to have to tune these yourselves to fit your needs. But here we go. So I'm going to do a daily backup and statistics. I'm going to do it every night at midnight. And we're going to do three things, which is update statistics, which, as you can read, just makes reading and writing from and to SQL databases a bit quicker. We're going to do a full backup of the database. So you've got every part of the database will get backed up, the data in it. And we're also going to back up the transaction logs. Transaction logs only really exist for databases that are set to full recovery mode. In a production system, that's most databases. In this test system, there's only one database that I've got in full recovery mode, and you'll see it later. Okay. So you're going to choose which databases you want to do. You want this the statistics to be updated for. Now you could choose these databases individually. However, obviously you might create new databases in the future and delete some old ones. Therefore, this will become out of date, this list. So I recommend you don't tick these. Instead, tick all user databases. All user databases means that it is every single database that isn't the built-in Microsoft databases, which are these ones: Master, Model, MSDB, and TempDB. So it's going to back up basically all your databases that you're interested in. So again, sorry, the one previously was updated statistics. This is for backing up the databases, where we're going to choose all user databases again. All right, so we choose where these database backup files are going to go to. I've already created a folder on my C drive. Naturally, you'd put it somewhere else, but I'm going to put it on my C drive into here. And I'm going to choose the default option for the file extension. So all the backup files are going to end in .back. You could change your compression setting, for example. So you could, if you do compress it, it'll be much smaller files, but it'll take longer. I'm going to use as the default server setting and just leave it as whatever the server is set to. Transaction log, again, I'm going to choose all user databases, but if you notice, I've only got one of my own databases called Content Store, which has a recovery model of full, which means it's the only one that has a transaction log, apart from the model, which is a built-in one, which is SQL does. So, but I'm going to choose again all user databases, again for the reason I said earlier, which is if I change my database in the future, this will automatically choose the right databases. And the destination, I'm going to choose the same location. Transaction backups end in TRM by default. That sounds great to me. At the end, it'll write a little text file into this folder, which is fine by me. It now creates a maintenance plan. This should not take long to create the database. There you go. It's created a maintenance plan and it exists here. This is the one. I'm going to create a second maintenance plan because it's all very well creating these backup files. However, if you create backup files every single day, then they're just going to fill up this folder with lots and lots of files, and eventually this hard drive is going to get full. So we want to do a little bit of maintenance. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone by doing a new maintenance plan wizard, which does two tasks. It's going to be a weekly reindex, because you don't really need to reindex every day, and it takes a few hours. So don't reindex every day. And delete old backups. So we're going to change this. Instead of being daily, it's going to be weekly on a Sunday, and we're going to set it to 3 in the morning, so the backup jobs will have finished by then. And it is going to rebuild the index. You could reorganize the index, but rebuild does it even more powerfully. So there's no point in doing both. This one is a more powerful version of that. It takes us a little bit longer. But you're doing this, you're assuming no users are using the system. Otherwise, it'll be a bit slower when you're rebuilding the index. But the sort of software that we support, generally on a Sunday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, there are not users on the system. And we're going to do a maintenance cleanup task. Okay, so again, the databases this is going to act on is all user databases. It's going to do the default amount of re-indexing. Now, this is how it is going to delete the backup files. And it's going to delete them in this folder. And it's going to do any older than 1 week. Okay. Now we've got 2 maintenance plans. So this would run every night at midnight. Let's simulate that by just right-clicking on that and doing execute. First thing it does is it is going to do that update statistics. If you remember, that was the first thing it does. When it's finished, it'll start populating in here with some files. I'm going to leave it running. It's going to take some time, probably 5 minutes. Okay, so the maintenance plan has finished. And as you can see, it has created all these files. Most of them are .back. Those are full database backups. One of them is a transaction log backup. That's because only one of these databases that we've got on this box is set to full recovery mode, as shown there. The other databases are set to simple. Okay. So, as I say, got all these backup files, and we'd get a new set for tomorrow. Every midnight we start creating these, and it would go on forever and create lots of files, and so we need to tidy them up. So I created this one. So let's just imagine I'd run this. What would happen is, in a similar way, it would update do the reindexing of all the databases here, and it would delete the backups that are older than a week. Okay, so that's basically shown you how you can do some maintenance, some simple basic maintenance on your SQL server. This should be good for pretty much any standard system. However, obviously you need to tweak it that's best for your environment. It's all very well creating these back files on the hard drives. However, those need to be backed up elsewhere. In the old days, you would use something like ArcServe and back them to tape and things like that, but the world's moved on. You can back up these files using whatever you use. And hopefully this has been helpful for you.